Hello, happy Monday.
We were just doing our little dance around here. We thought we would do it for you guys, so we have our little warm-up dance. We're standing today, so good to see you all. Very, very excited to be back with you. We need a name for these lives.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday lives. Today we're going to be talking about the art of coaching mastery. I'm super, super excited. So thank you all for coming.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And in Texas today, it's more like spring. Last week it was, remember, Sunday it was snowing.
Yes.
So we have a wide variety so we don't get bored.
Yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from. How's the weather? Where you are in the world, probably cold for most of you, but maybe we have some Southern Hemisphere people who are enjoying summer right now. So let us know in the chat. We want to hear from you. We love to make these lives very interactive. So say hi.
Dialogue, yeah.
Yeah, nice to have you all here. So you all are coming on and joining us. So today we're going to be talking, like I said, about the art of coaching mastery. So many of you are probably coaches already if you're watching this, or you are thinking about becoming one. So you're definitely in the right place if that's the case. But we really want to say that this topic is not just for coaches.
Right.
Hi, Nikki. Woohoo! She's in Jamaica.
Yeah.
She was posting her pictures yesterday. I was like,
we're coming to visit.
Maybe we need to be planning a trip to Jamaica.
Every time I see her pictures, I'm like, I'm so jealous.
Hi, Brittany. Nice to see you.
Hi, Brittany.
Awesome. Everybody else, let us know where you're tuning in from. So like I said, these skills are really not just for coaches. We teach coaching and communication skills to, of course, to coaches, but also therapists who want to really integrate a method into their practice. They want to integrate more coaching skills into their practice. A lot of times people come and do our programs and they even get certified when they're looking at a career change and they have a sense that they want to coach or teach or lead programs in some way. I think it's funny, a lot of times people will say to me, well, I don't want to be a coach. But when we dig in, they're like, well, I do want to lead programs in some way. So we've kind of got this idea of what the word coaching means, that it always means working one-on-one with someone.
Right.
And that's definitely not the case. These communication skills can be used for speaking, for teaching. Was there something you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, and I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs in my career, and many of them, they're even have gotten certified with me, and it doesn't mean that they go out and they become a coach, right? I think it's kind of gotten a bad rap or something, that they take what they learn and they apply it really in their businesses. And the other thing is in their families, in their relationships. So the skills of coaching, it is the time where, we've talked about this on a couple of the lives, that are so important for you to grow and evolve as people, and also for us to create more harmony in our lives and more productivity in our businesses. And if you are a coach, to get in there and really, really dig deep and learn in such a way that you get out there and you're clear about who you want to coach, how you want to coach. And a lot of our method is about really going deeper with people. Yeah,
absolutely. And we say that coaching skills are the way of the future.
And they are.
Heard us say that before, because more and more as technology evolves and a lot of jobs are being taken over by technology and being eliminated, we really see that coaching skills and communication skills, those are things that are very human, right? That and very much it's the way things are going, that people are looking for. We have to set ourselves apart, right? Even if you're in an organization or something like that and you really want to advance through coaching skills and communication skills, you can really advance in terms of your leadership and set yourself apart and really grow.
Yeah, and I've worked in a lot of Fortune 500 companies and gone in, I think I shared this once with the senior VPs, and taught them these skills. And first they applied it in themselves, and then they went in and they really used it in their teams and saw profound changes. And then the other thing is, back many years ago, a lot of the women that worked with me, because women were having a hard time advancing, and they started advancing immediately when they started learning how to work with people in such a way to grow, be a team, have this communication where you can really, be a powerful leader and get what you want, but also be in service to the people in your organization.
Yeah, I'm curious, for those of you watching right now, why are you watching? So in other words, why are you curious about coaching mastery? Is this something that are you a coach already? If so, let us know. Are you thinking about becoming a coach, or are you really looking to use this in a different way in your life or in your business, in your relationships, like we said, or leadership, or really advancing in your career?
So, Brittany, you are in Atlanta.
Yeah,
so
Brittany's a coach.
Okay,
so,
she is. Awesome.
Yeah, and then Nikki is as well. So we've definitely got some coaches on and more people joining all the time. So please let us know, again, how you really want to use these skills, because the more you dialogue with us, the more that we can really make this interactive and speak to what you are wanting to get out of today. So we're going to be teaching some really powerful skills in this training, but this is, again, just the tip of the iceberg in terms of coaching mastery. It's kind of a lofty thing to do in a live stream because there's a lot to this. Obviously, Gigi's been doing this work for 35 years. I've been doing this work for many years. And so some of you may want to go deeper after this call today or after this live stream. And if that's the case, we are going to touch a little bit on some of the skills that we teach in our Aliveness Mastery program. That is our certification in the Aliveness Method, which is our coaching and communication framework. So if you're curious to learn more about that, go check out the program at alivenessmastery.com. Awesome.
Georgetown. Nice. So you have the same weather as us.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll also, we also have the opportunity, if you really see that you want to get clarity, if you don't know exactly how you want to use this and you're curious about, what you want to create next in your career or your business, then we do these clarity calls. You may have heard us talk about them before, and they're really powerful breakthrough sessions. They're about 90 minutes long, and would love to offer that to you. It's really to see where it is you want to go next. What's your big vision? And then what's holding you back, because that's so much too, is the things that hold us back, we can't see them, our blind spots. And that's a lot of what we do even in our program when we're working with people, is to make them aware what are their unique gifts, but also what are the blind spots so that they don't hold them back any longer. So that's what we do in that clarity call. And if you're curious about that, just type clarity below and we'll reach out to you to tell you more. Okay, so let's get into the content. I still want to hear from those of you watching. I'm hearing where you're tuning in from. But what, again, are you a coach? Are you thinking about becoming a coach, or do you want to use coaching skills in some other way? We'd really love to know what you want to get out of this class today.
Yeah, so the first is educate yourself. And I know, that's, of course, right?
What you're doing right now.
But I have to tell you, when I started 34 years ago, there weren't any coaching certifications. Now, we created one of the first ones in the early 1990s. But, if you get in there and you find a way to accelerate, because that's what it does, when you get educated, you accelerate your ability to go out there and do it quicker. But
I want you to tell them what your education was like. So for Gigi, because there was no coaching certifications, it was what? Books, mentorship,
being involved in a community where I assisted all the time, and I really, really learned about myself. I learned where my blocks were. I learned when I wasn't present. I really learned, I have to say, an incredible observation skills. And that's one of the things that I teach, is because I learned how to be with people in such a way that I could observe them. And I always say that often we don't learn anywhere. We have awareness, but you don't learn that skill of observation. Yeah, I spent hours in training rooms, hundreds, thousands of hours.
Days and days and months. But I think that's really important, because one of the things we want to talk about in terms of educating yourself is that, so much people think of educating themselves as like going to school and studying something and reading and memorizing and so on. But the education we're talking about, as much as possible, is also like experiential.
Absolutely.
And then getting mentorship, getting, feedback as you are coaching and training and so on, because then that's just so powerful. Then you're not operating in a void. We need someone outside of ourselves to really shine a light on, here's what, again, you're doing really well, and here's what could maybe shift or change.
And this is what you could do better, And so you really get the feedback of what's working, what's not working. And, I find often when I talk with people and they're doing a self-study program, they don't get that, right? They don't get that feedback. And so it's extremely powerful. I just want to say, too, from my 34 years, I've definitely done my 10,000 hours, right?
Probably 30,000 hours at this point.
And learning also in the way, I just tell people when they work with me, I went out and I made all the mistakes. Believe me, I've made 1,000. And now I'm able to really take the parts that work and share those in a very concise way. So it gives you the power to absolutely, like I said, accelerate. You know, I often say with my clients, when they come in, they see the things that would have taken them 5 years, it only takes them 1 year. And I think that's very profound in that, you know, you say, how do you get mastery in such a short time? It is that working, looking at yourself, understanding yourself in an environment of trust, and then understanding when you work with people, you know, how to keep your stuff out of the process and how to deeply work with people so they really, they are able to share with you in a very deep and profound way.
I think that's a really important point, because mastery is not about mastering just a set of skills or tools.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of us think about it, again, because of school or, you know, programs. But it's really also about learning to master yourself.
It is.
That's so much as a coach.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of times people say mastery is wisdom. So I have an enormous amount of wisdom because of my experience. But I want to tell you that each and every one of you also out there have an enormous amount of wisdom. And you don't have to take 34 years to use that, learn that. It's already in you. And you just have to find the right guides to be able to tap into you. So to see it and see what that unique wisdom is of yours, and be able to help you to put that into the world, whether that is in your business or in a coaching practice.
And that is a lot of, and I want to read you guys' comments, but that is a lot of what we do in the clarity calls as well, is really reflect back to you, because we can't see that for ourselves. You know, it's like, okay, what is my wisdom? We might have some sense of that, but to have someone really guide you through the process to get clear on what it is you have to share, what is that unique gift, and then again, what are the blind spots that could hold you back? So if you're curious about that, type clarity below. Okay, we've got Brittany. I'd like to coach women specifically on communication, consulting, and the value of expression and shooting your shot. I think you mean like going for it.
Going for it. Right on.
So Brittany has a clarity call this week.
Oh, good, Brittany. Awesome.
Super excited for you to hear what you get out of that.
Awesome.
We have Jenny from Carrolltown, Georgia.
Two people from Georgia, right? Yeah.
Wow, awesome. Yeah. And so, Jenny, are you a coach? Tell us a little bit about yourself so we know why you're here today and how we can support you. Sharon, another Jamaica. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, again, we're jealous.
So I'd also like to control my time and energy. I'm a visionary shine.
That's Brittany. Yeah,
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, awesome. So we're going to share some great things that'll really support you there, Brittany, and you'll get a lot out of your clarity call as well. So we want to talk about the first kind of skill, which is curiosity as a coach.
And that sounds so simple. Everybody tells me I'm curious, and I know, but it's interesting when I sit down with someone and they're curious, but they're making decisions as they're curious. So we teach people how to be curious again, because the truth is we lose a lot of our curiosity. If you go to the Secrets of Master Coach,
that's a video training we have, by the way, not to skim over that. We have free video trainings, another training if you want to get access to it, just go to secretsofamastercoach.com. And that's like a more extensive version kind of some of the things we're teaching today, and it'll touch on some other points as well. I
really walk through there and I show you the curiosity spectrum and how we lose our curiosity, how our lights go out, and then how, as what we do in our work as coaches, how we assist people to find their way again, basically. And then to truly start to see the life they're meant to live, and to help them to be a catalyst. We don't do it for them, to be a catalyst to allow them to find that again, you know. And
when you say your lights go out, we're actually talking almost literally. So if you think about looking into the eyes of a little baby, and they're bright and they're curious, right? And they're just so in awe of the world, and there's no kind of filters or judgments or anything like that. And then you think about looking into the eyes of a high school class, and what's the difference, right? Yeah. It's such a distinction there in terms of, so really our lights do go out, but you can bring them back on again. And that's what we're talking about. And that's what the Aliveness Method is all about. So Jenny said, I'm a consultant, and yes, I'm coaching and mentoring a few people just starting out. Awesome, Jenny. Do you have any specific questions for us today? That would be great. The more specific we get in terms of maybe what you're wanting to learn or what you're struggling with, that's going to really help us tailor this to you. And Brittany, same for you and anybody else watching.
Yeah, so let's go back to curiosity for a minute. So it is this ability to sit with people until they're deeply seen. And when you practice, when you learn the skill, it's amazing. What happens is you don't have to really do anything in your coaching sessions, because in the way that you're being curious and you're watching for the lights, and we teach how to give feedback. I think we talk about that later. Or, feedback in such a way that we, again, don't try to guide the client. Here's the thing I always say is people know what they want. And our job as a masterful coach is to stay out of the way and be there in such a curious way. And like I said, watch for those lights and give them feedback so they can take the time to unwind and they can start to share, deeply share. Because at first what happens is people normally tell us a story.
I want to back up and let's actually back up too, because we're a little bit close to the frame here. But I want to back up and really highlight this point that most coaches and consultants, especially consulting is a little different than coaching. Let's talk about coaching. So when people think about coaching, they usually think that they need to solve something for the client or help the client get a result or figure something out. And what we're saying here is that's not actually the case in many ways, is that the client actually knows what they want and they know how to get there. And it's your job as the coach to what?
Be receptive.
Get curious and be receptive. Those are basically two of the skills we're talking about today. And so when you do that, you're not sitting there trying to guide, because what that does is it actually interferes in some ways with the energy. I always talk about this, like I've been on the receiving end of both kinds of coaching, and there's nothing wrong with the other kind. In fact, I call it more like strategy or consulting.
And that's important
like
at certain times.
It is very important, and it is a part of what we do, but it comes later. It comes after. First, there is a piece of sitting back to some degree and being receptive, being curious, and watching and waiting. Watching, first of all, for the lights. Did we talk a lot about that?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So watching for where people actually light up. And then in that receptivity, can you just describe a little bit more about, like, okay, so you're sitting back, you're observing, and in that receptivity, what happens?
People begin to trust, first of all, and they begin to unwind, because there aren't many places in life where you can go and be listened to and deeply seen without somebody trying to move you forward or fix what your problem is or tell you what to do. And again, we're saying most coaches, there's an amazing amount of awesome coaches out there. So, I respect the people in the industry. I respect the consulting field so much. And what we have is just a piece of the puzzle. And so, so that's what you do. And in this, there's also, by sitting back, we call it the skill of receptivity. And that receptivity, again, creates a container for your clients to remember themselves, to remember that happy baby, to remember and start to get curious about what they want to do. And the other thing is for them to get a reflection. A lot of times people come, they have a lot of stories, they have the reasons why they can't do things, they've got their belief systems, and we don't go in and try to fix that. We allow them first to emote that, and then to give feedback, is that in service to what they want to do? So it's this, it's hard to describe until you actually see it. And then also, like I said, we have a lot of the ways of teaching it. So we teach it. Yeah,
we go through all this in depth in our Liveness Mastery program. But what I wanted to say about that was, again, coming back to, I know I've had that experience, but think about for yourself. Have you ever been, even not in a coaching container necessarily, but have you ever been having a conversation with somebody and you're sharing kind of your ideas or something that's coming up for you, and they immediately get in there and they try to help you solve it or figure it out, right? They're like, oh, you should do this and this, or that, or, why don't you think about this way? And what's the experience of sitting on the other side of that? It's often a little frustrating, right? It's a little confronting because you kind of need to sort of sit in it yourself first. You need to just talk and think and, do that out loud. And then in that, if someone is receptive and they sit back and they know how to guide you in such a way that it doesn't sort of interfere with that process, then then at some point you can come to the place where you're ready to kind of get support and get that guidance and strategy, the action steps.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got someone from Pittsburgh. Hi, Erica. Awesome. So Jenny said, curiosity leads to many of the right questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So Brittany said, it makes me defensive. Yeah, you do feel defensive when you're sitting on the other side of that. You're like, hold up here. I don't know why that is, but it's such an important piece. So any other questions? We want to make this, again, interactive. You guys love all the comments, but share with us specifically, what is it about when you're working with a client? Because we're talking about the actual coaching process here. Is there any time that you have struggled with something, or, you have something you're coming up against when you're working with people? That would be really awesome for us to hear so we can support you with it. So again, this is really powerful not only for coaches, it's powerful for leaders too. Yep. So if you're in an organization or if you want to be a leader in some way, then understanding this is not just, we're talking about it in the container of a coaching session, but these are life skills. They really, really are. I use these in my marriage every single day. We use them in our family every single day. Yeah. And our clients go out and use them in every area. And so it's really, really powerful to master this kind of art, as we call it. And it's not, like we said, just a science of, okay, ask this question, do this thing, and then have them do that, because very much it will be an in the moment. You will see when you're working with people where to take them next.
And it's counterintuitive, especially for leadership. I find when I've worked with leaders, and I have clients, again, we'll talk about this, that have worked with me for 15 years, some 20 years, and they continually are mastering these concepts that we're telling you right now, or these skills that we're telling you, because they grow and deepen in you as you practice them. And the level it takes, because it's very counter to what we're taught. We're taught, get out there, be aggressive, be assertive. If you're a leader, you're strong. And all of that, the strength is true, but strength, there's a much stronger place that you come from when you come from a place of curiosity and receptivity, because it's a centered place. And that's what people find when they start to practice and learn these, is that it's very empowering because you stay within yourself. So this, again, as a leader or as a coach, as a therapist, you learn this ability to stay in your energy and to work with people in such a way that, like we said, that they really unwind and they come alive.
And this is why people in our program, come through, and of course they're learning these coaching skills. So if they're going out and they're coaching, or they're therapists or working with people in some way, they are applying them there. But so many of the breakthroughs we hear too are in other parts of their lives. They come in and they say, oh my gosh, I'm using this in my marriage, I'm using this with my kids. And we have the little WhatsApp thread going, and we have all the shares, from what people are experiencing going out and taking this. And it's so fun, because every single week it's like, oh my goodness, when I was talking to someone, I used to get so self-conscious. This is one that we've heard. I used to worry about what to say, or I'd get self-conscious. And now I watch for the lights when I'm talking to them, and I'm curious. And my conversations are so much deeper. I feel like I'm really, really connecting with people. Yeah. So again, this is multifaceted. It really applies to all areas of life.
Should we see? Yeah.
All right. So Erica, difficult clients, when they lack the motivation required to be successful, I can give them all the advice, but if they don't take the steps, leading a horse to water, but can't make them drink. I love that you're asking this question, and please, more of you ask questions, because this is going to be really, really good. Don't want their lack of effort to be a reflection on my practice. How do you handle difficult clients?
Yeah.
Gigi, take it away.
This is an interesting one, is that in the relationship that you set up with your client from the beginning, you have to walk through this. You have to walk through that. First of all, the coaching process is an up and down process. And that's for me, or later in my years, I wouldn't work with anyone for less than a year. Now, again, that's because of the more advanced, right? That I've been doing it a long time. But say if you're newer and you're doing 3 months, 6 months, whatever, you have to make the client aware that there is this up and down, and you have to get their agreement to that they will do the work, and to make them understand, or let them understand, that there will be times where they're not going to want to do it. They may not like you. They may not, but that, to understand, that is part of the actual process. Now, that doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. And that you say, in this process, I can guide you, I can be your catalyst, and I'm here to be the cheerleader, but I can never make you get the results. The ultimate results come from you. And that's just a really great place to begin your relationship with your client, because then what you do is you say, we're in this together, but ultimately there's no way that I could ever make you change. There's no way we can ever make anyone change. The person has to have the desire. You can even go deeper and say, if this comes up, even though I know you're not going to want to, reach out to me and let's just sit down, let you talk this through so you can get back on track. So it is this thing of, it's leaning into the things that often we don't want to talk about. And in such a way that we're not pointing the finger, we're not defensive. It's part of the relationship that we're going on this journey together, and that they are responsible for their results. Yeah.
And this is really great to set up from the beginning, but Erica, I know that you're dealing with this right now and working with clients. And so just to speak to that piece, Gigi has supported me so much, and we work with our coaches around this. And some of my biggest breakthroughs were around this, because what happens is we think as the coach, it's my job to get the client results. They're in this package. I want them to get results. I don't want them to go out and talk badly and say that I don't create results for my clients, right? So what do you do when you get into that dynamic? Well, people will try to pin you into that dynamic.
They will.
And this is really, really interesting. And so through Gigi's mentorship, and we work again deeply with people, this is intricate, but we'll try to touch on it today. But through her mentorship, I was able to see how to take myself out of the situation and not let them sort of pin me into that dynamic. Because here's the thing, as the coach, and you mentioned advice, and that's what we were talking about before, you don't give advice. You can give suggestions, but the client has to own what they want to do or not do. And if they don't do it, that's up to them. And you step out completely, because otherwise this kind of almost like parent-child relationship can develop there, where it's like you're telling them what to do, they're not doing it, and you're frustrated, and it creates this whole dynamic. Instead of, hey, when a client does that, it's like, listen, what do you want to do? What do you seek to do here? And if you don't want to do something, maybe the coaching goes in a different direction, or, what are the results you really want to get out of the rest of our time together? And so it is sort of, is there anything you want to speak to there at all?
Yeah, it is a matter of, again, leaning into it, but not in a defensive way. Like McKenna said, you are not responsible for getting them results. That's the first thing you have to totally embody. You are not responsible for that. If you're there, you're showing up, and you're there 100%, then that's the best you can do. And then you want to say, like McKenna had mentioned, is if they're not doing the work, you say, hey, I noticed that you're not doing this, and, is it that you don't want to do it? Or is there a change you want to make? Or, the other thing, is this showing up anywhere else in your life? Do you have this? So you can ask those kind of questions and then let them talk. And you have to take yourself out of that. You have to solve it, because like she said, people will corner you into that. They'll make you feel like you're responsible.
And when you're in that, you're no longer in the role of the coach. You're no longer in the seat of the coach. And you aren't seeing clearly either. So the minute you pull yourself out and you go, wait a second, be unattached, that you can't care what the client does or doesn't do. And this is a really, we always say, the minute you think you know what's going on, you're full of baloney, right? Or you think you know what someone should do, you're also full of baloney. Because the truth is, again, this is curiosity and receptivity, is sitting back. You have no idea. They could have come in with one intention, and it could shift because of what evolves as you work together. And so when you think this is what they should do, or you give advice, then you're frustrated when they don't do it. But if you sit back and you get curious and go, what's here? There's probably a powerful teaching moment here, or there's a powerful, maybe something they are seeing about this isn't the direction, and there's something else they want to do. And so again, stepping back, being unattached, and not worrying about whether they're getting results, not whatever, then you can start to see, and this comes again to, these are advanced things we're teaching here, but it is being the space for this, transformation to happen. But you can start to see, and ask questions. Like Gigi said, this happened with a client recently where I said, hey, once I pulled myself out and I said, listen, you can do this or not do this. I don't care at all. But what do you see? What do you want to get out of this?
What do you want to do?
And then I asked her, once I said that, she calmed down, first of all, and stopped kind of feeling frustrated by this dynamic, because she created the dynamic in her head that I was trying to get her to do something. And then I said, listen, does this show up anywhere else in your life? Like Gigi said. And she was like, oh yeah, it does. And then we were able, it became a really powerful teaching moment. So great question. I hope that helps you.
Yeah.
And she said, go ahead.
I do want to go back to, with Erica. So this is also, Erica, in your coaching to look at, because it sounds like you're probably a very effective person. Like you said, you can see that in 2 months it could get done versus 6 months. Now, as a coach, that's where the curiosity, you got to stay curious, because you can't project what you do or what you think they should do into your coaching practice, because everybody, remember, is a little snowflake. And we've got to allow, and we can definitely give feedback, share people, and ask questions that people start to see, where they're blocked and things.
Because this gives people a chance to evolve on their own timing too.
Yeah.
Because there's many people that we've worked with, and we'll talk about, our clients come back to us, and Gigi especially, she's been doing this a lot longer than me, but for years and years, they come back over 5, 10 plus 20 years sometimes. And part of that is we give them the space to evolve. And, sometimes when I was earlier on in one of our programs, we were leading a mastermind, people would come in and I would think, oh my gosh, like this person, I would have all my judgments and opinions, right? And I would get frustrated and whatever, and they'd have, they weren't getting the results or whatever situation came up. We still have some of those people. In fact, some of them are in our program right now working with us. And oh my God, they have transformed so much.
Yeah.
They are different people. They are the best versions of themselves. And I just am amazed, if not for this mentorship and guidance, I would never have worked with that person again. I would have kind of had an opinion and been like, okay, next client, right? But we really build trust with people in time when we give them that space. And so that's also, in terms of the timing, is sitting back and allowing people to do it on their own timing, while also being a stand for them going for it, and not just getting stuck in their patterns that might hold them back.
And Jenny, absolutely. And again, as a coach, you can have certain parameters and things in the way you build your coaching practice, and we talk about that in terms of your packages. And you could absolutely have part of it, a process that in the middle of the package you go, let's schedule a call to go through what's working, what's not working, and it's not for them to sit and tell you what you're doing wrong or right. It's what's working and not working
in their life,
and in their results and everything. So then they have time to express too. And then you guys have time to go, okay, should we shift here or change this or change our focus or whatever?
Absolutely. But that goes back to so much of, again, the evolution of yourself as a coach. And you sound like you're an amazing dedicated, because you want to get the results for them. So it's all coming from a great place. And I'm just speaking again to myself, me 5-6 years ago coaching versus where I am now is such a different thing. And that's where the guidance and the mentorship is so huge in getting that feedback. So Brittany said, my issue is confidence. Any suggestions on how to feel confident I can provide the service I offer, in particular at a price that honors my service?
When people talk to me about confidence, of course, confidence, Brittany, comes from practice too.
And educating yourself.
And educating yourself. I think when you have great skills, great frameworks, we created frameworks out of what I've done for 34 years in a way so new coaches can feel very confident about what they're doing, and they can create transformation through those frameworks. And, it's not just a framework of some exercise. They're deeply created from the years of my experience of working with people. And so they absolutely allow for transformation. They do transform. And the other thing about confidence is what I teach people is think of your work as not about you. Get your attention off yourself and think of your work as the impact you want to have in the world, the impact you have when you work with people, and focused on the impact Because if you're doing good work and you are absolutely making changes, if people take out one thing that you provide and they go out and they really do it and they practice it, you've changed their life. You've absolutely changed their life. And they grow and they start to learn, and that's the other thing. And in my work in all my years, I don't just coach people, I teach people. So my clients learn from me things that they go out and they take what I teach them and then they go practice it. If they're a leader in their companies, with their husband, with their children. And so again, they evolve as humans. I always say we grow humans because we do. People grow and they evolve. And the changes from just little pieces. That's the other thing too, is if you do little things in your coaching work and people really get it, that adds up to big things and in time. Yeah. So,
but I do want to caution, because sometimes when we hear, teaching, we might go into a coaching session and start teaching people a lot of stuff, which is great. And that's inspiring and it's motivational. But we want to, again, come back to these other principles we're sharing first, which is that the way JT is teaching is very much from this receptive and curious place. So first going to the client, really being present with them, seeing where they need to go, letting them take responsibility for their results. Then as we're guiding, or as we're in the process of I thought I heard an alarm, sorry. As we're in the later part maybe of the session, or weaving through the session teaching, right? So it's not that we are going in and just teaching a whole bunch of stuff, because what happens there otherwise is people can learn intellectually, but they're not experiencing the transformation. And it's far more powerful to have someone transform than to just learn a bunch of stuff and then go out and try to apply it, right? I love Erica said, take away butterflies in their own time, not mine, so they can have those transformative moments in their own time.
Where did she say that?
Here, Erica.
Oh,
butterflies in their own time, not mine. I love that. That's such a great saying. It's so cute. So focus on the service you're providing, yes. And also, not only the service you're providing, but focus on the other person. When you're in a coaching session, your attention should not be on yourself. It should not be on whether you're providing value or what to say next. As much as possible, you want to put your attention on the other person. Get super present with them. Look into their eyes, watch for the lights. That you'll know in the moment, or at least with practice and with, learning these skills and principles, you'll start to know in the moment where to take them next.
Yeah, and Bettina, hi.
Hi, Bettina. Yeah, Bettina's a longtime client.
Yeah, so she said the ripple effects are awesome, short and long term. Yeah.
So good to see you here.
Yeah, and that's right on. But Bettina's a client that we've worked with a few times, and again, she comes back because she learns and comes in deeper into the content, and she's had some amazing goals and created some incredible,
she created a movie,
a documentary and everything. So out of the work.
Good to see you here. Okay, so anything else you want to talk about clients coming back again and again? Because that's one of the things we touched on today, is how do you have that where clients do come back and work with you multiple times and refer people to you? That's really when you're creating a powerful shift for people.
Well, first of all, you can see we're passionate about what we do. And that's one reason. That's one reason why people come back, And like I said, when I work with people and we work with people, I teach client skills. And what happens is they practice them and they have more depth, and then they want to learn more. And then the other thing is we work very much with people's aliveness, who they are, their uniqueness. And that uniqueness grows over time. And that, the more you get out there and you go to the next dimension or the next frequency, then you're ready for the next thing. And it's a very powerful thing to come back and work with people that you have trust with. You don't have to build that over and over again. And then also, I am deeply interested in my clients. I mean, I would have to say one reason people come back is I approach my work from love. And I think of my clients as family, as my tribe. And, I'm in it for the long game, right? There are people I say, how could you do anything 34 years, right?
35, I think now.
Yeah, it's probably actually 36. Because I've been in it for the long game, and I stay in touch whether I'm working with somebody or not. And people come back when they're ready for that next step. And, here's the thing. anybody that's been working 35 years has a deep commitment to the people they work with, and people sense and feel that. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, so letting your clients know and feel your love, I always say I fall in love with all of our clients, and I really do. I see what's possible for them, hold them to their highest. We both do. And that's often why people come in too, we don't have those believers in our lives. Not only believers, but believers who will hold us accountable to our dreams. Because we're not just saying, rah, rah, you're amazing. We're saying, but yes, you can do it. And then also, here's what's holding you back, or here's what's going to get in your way, because those are the sticking points that keep people from moving forward so much of the time. And then we love empowering other people, obviously, with these skills, right? So that you can be that believer for other people, so that you can come in with your curiosity, your receptivity, and your love, and people feel that, and they'll be like, I need that, I want that again. And often, like Gigi said, they'll go out, they won't work with us continuously for those years, but they'll go out and go, over months, and they'll start getting amazing results, and then they'll come back and say, okay, I'm ready for the next level.
People come.
Tanya,
oh my gosh. So
Tanya
said she's been, we figured out the other day, since 1996,
something like that.
So, and she comes back, she doesn't work for me for a few years, and then she comes back again, so, and it's just a matter of, again, growing, Carol, thank you. We love our passion too.
This is the topic we obviously get really excited about. So
now here's bottom line. I would love you all to come to our program here, because I know that you absolutely would learn so much, have profound results, increase if you're a coach, consultant, absolutely, in terms of new tools for your toolbox. And not only that, one of the biggest things is you would completely transform into more of who you are.
And we actually record you on video. We haven't talked about this too much on these lives, but we have it on our page, which is alivenessmastery.com. We actually record you on video before and then throughout the program with no expression on your face, and you will see physiological changes start to happen. Now, we're going to also certify you in this, so you can do this with your clients. But just to start with, you are going to see yourself, and we teach you how to read those videos and observe what's going on there without judgment or interpretation. And just like we talked about the lights in the eyes of happy babies, in time, what we typically see are people's eyes get brighter, emotion kind of leaves, like sadness, anger, some of those heavier emotions move up and out. They look younger, the two sides of their face integrate. So you actually can see the shifts that happen as you go through the program. And then it's amazing because you can then use this tool with your clients. So they can also see the shifts as they transform and come more into alignment with their aliveness and who they really are. But also it is really important, like I keep saying, to kind of break free of those things that hold us back as well. And that's something we really, really work on. So it's a 9-month program, and it is extensive. People say, well, there's certifications I can do that are 3 months or something like that in their self-study. But again, the power of the longer container, like we were talking about with Erica, is so important, because in that time, you have time to go through the ups and downs, to practice things, to, have sort of things that challenge you and to move through them, and to get the support and really have your own transformation and feel like you, to really gain proficiency and gain mastery. And being in the community too is another huge
We have an amazing
piece.
Community.
So many of the women jumped on today. Thank you, ladies. Nikki said life-changing course, game changer for me as a coach.
So Nikki's in our program right now.
Nikki, and I think we had some other people on today that are in our program.
And Tanya Courtney says growing and fine-tuning. Tanya, maybe it's time again.
So it's 9 months, and then the community, like we said, of just having people all over the world and something like 10 countries now, and they're checking in, supporting each other, but also being honest about when they're going through the ups and downs. And that's so important that we say don't just show up when things are good. You show up and when things are challenging, and through that support, you really can move through them so much more quickly. Jenny, we have a certification. So it's alivenessmastery.com. And if you didn't watch the whole video, we do talk about it more in the video. But I just recommend going to alivenessmastery.com. The other thing is, if you're curious in any way, type clarity below, because we do these 90-minute breakthrough sessions. Like I said, it's really an opportunity for you to look and see, how do you want to evolve and grow? What is holding you back? and to experience that first big breakthrough in our work together. And then at the end of the session, if you are curious about our programs, we will ask you, do you want to learn more? And we'll share more about it then. But it is first and foremost really an opportunity for you to have that breakthrough and to experience a little of this work for yourself, because we're talking about something here, but you want to have that direct experience.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely,
type clarity below if that's something you're interested in, and then go to alivenessmastery.com if you want to read more about the program, or I'm sure you could type here, and Nikki and all these ladies are in the program will also share a little of their experiences. So thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for showing up, everyone.
Yeah.
And
if you have any other questions, even after, if you're watching this and it's not live, please type them below. We will definitely get back in here and answer them. We do these lives every single week, Monday at noon Central. So we have some really awesome ones coming up, and we always want to know what you want to learn about. So this can be really valuable for you. Sharon, so good to see you here. Sharon's another client. So love the variety and love that everybody is so interactive. That's
Thank
really,
you
really
so
what we
much.
want.
Yeah, Brittany.
Brittany has her clarity call today.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Can't wait to hear about it. All right.
All right.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye.